期待的第一次。
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey. Good evening.
Good evening, my friends.
Today we open up a little bit different. Yeah, we drag our guests up along with us. So
we're gonna get into it right away.
Yeah, welcome Yiran to our show. So I mean, you're he left.
He's gone. He's gone. He's over it.
Probably. He's screwed. Anyway,
he'll be back soon.
Why we're waiting? Let's just go with the usual intro. I think we don't leave the time wasted.
Yeah. So let's do it then. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Blue Sky Coming unofficial NIO podcast. Today we have, of course, me, Mr. P, and TIY by Ting, and we're also going to be joined by a very special guest who just disappeared, and his name is Iran, and he is a former head of PR for NIO. So when he comes back, we're going to get into interviewing him.
Sure.
While we wait, since he's not here, do you have rumors and news, Mr. P?
Well, so apparently, yeah, he's definitely the center of the show, but we'll go over some of the rumors. Onvo apparently got 100K orders within one day. Spectacular orders, spectacular order numbers. And then NIO itself is also getting a ton of orders. And these are firm orders, all right, firm orders. They've gotten around 18,000 within the first 19 days of May, new orders. So that doesn't include previous orders from April. So they're doing quite well. They're selling a lot of cars. Customers are buying their vehicles. And very soon we're going to have earnings coming up. I think it's on a Thursday. Thursday, the 6th of June. Yeah. So that's going to be very soon. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a very interesting earnings report. I personally expect earnings to beat expectations. Part of the reason is because, they've really kind of toned down the pace of money spending, and we got year-end back. All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Iran. We started without you since you dropped, but now that you're back, we would love to have you introduce yourself, who you are, and what your position was at NIO, and maybe anything else about yourself you'd like to share before we get into talking to you.
Okay. I'm Iran. I live in Shanghai, China. I have more than 10 years of automobile industry experience in 4 different makers. 3 of them are international makers. 1 of them are Chinese startup called NIO. At that time, I was the PR director of NIO. It was like 6 years ago. And before joining NIO, I was a product planner, product manager in auto industry. So basically, I look at Chinese auto market, consumer products for like nearly 15 years. And in my part time, I like write some article on internet. So for years, I become I can call it influencer in Chinese internet. It would be glad and honored to join you guys today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy here.
So Iran has his own channel. So for the viewers that are watching this live and also watching the replay, you guys can definitely go subscribe to his channel. We'll leave a link somewhere in the comments. And his videos are mostly Chinese, but I believe you have English subtitles as well, right?
Not really. English is too hard for me, you know. Basically, my channel is in Chinese, and actually, I think I'm more popular in Chinese social platform. I also have a YouTube, but sorry, it's Chinese. I think for people who watch it, may use auto translation. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, the live translation on the closed caption works, so it's kind of almost accurate. So that's good also, I think.
All right, so today we're gonna bombard you with a bunch of questions. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
So I guess the first question is, what do you think of NIO right now? Are they doing well? Are they not doing well? what's your opinion on just in general? All right, like we're in general.
I think NIO is like NIO wasn't Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the guy everybody love it. I think NIO was not Marvel. Marvel is a movie that's worldwide popular. I think NIO has a lot of good sides, but also have something struggle. Basically, I think the biggest challenge for NIO is the financial part. It's always lose money. It doesn't see the profit coming. I think it take some time to have the real profit. I think that's the main problem. I think what is really strong for NIO is branding. It's branding. For people buy cars, especially buy premium cars, branding is so much important. I think a lot of guys finally realize that after Li Auto Mega performance came out. You know what I mean. I think people finally realize in China, if you want to sell a car with pricing like more than 300,000 RMB, it's quite challenging. It's quite challenging. It's always like that. Actually, It's nothing new in auto industry. Before, you see, Mercedes, BMW, and Audi and Porsche could have great sales in China, but for Cadillac, for Lincoln, for maybe Acura from Honda, it doesn't went so well. Brand power is key to premium market, especially when technology doesn't grow up so quick. Currently, comparing with 3 years ago, the technology increasement trend I think is turning slower. It's growing slower and slower. So the brand power would become more important and more important. I think that's the something good for NIO. And you see the numbers for last 2 years, and there are some rumors talking about NIO's latest orders. The numbers are growing very well. I think it's another thing. I'm not sure for today, but I want to say it because it's like a trend coming. For Chinese market, I think it's a little bit complicated than the other international car markets. I need to explain that in details. Sorry, I need to explain that in details. For example, today I was in Indonesia, and last week I was in Thailand and have a meeting with team. For Thailand and Indonesia, I think the market structure was more simple. A lot of gasoline vehicles dominated by Japanese makers like Toyota, and there are some of them began to be EV. And for plug-in hybrid, nearly nothing. But in China, there are 3 kinds of vehicle currently. One is gasoline vehicle, one is EV, and the other are plug-in or REEV. This vehicle actually the third party in China, we call it the middle technology. It means you could enjoy electricity, but you can also enjoy gasoline chargers, right? So the third party technology really popular in last 2 or 3 years, starting by BYD and then Li Auto. But this year, something interesting happens. I think from 2004, a lot of guys finally realized if I have range anxiety, if I don't trust the new technology, I can do gasoline vehicle. It's reliable. For Volkswagen, for Toyota, for Honda, it's reliable. And there is Geely, there is Haval, there is tons of brands. But if I want to embrace the future, I can directly go to Tesla, go to NIO, go to these 100% pure electric vehicle. The range is okay. There are enough of charger. in China. And actually, for Chinese people, they don't drive so much as America, like Eric, as the German people do. We don't enjoy long distance driving because we have a high speed train. We have the world best high speed train. Yeah. So I think if this trend become true, I think NIO would benefit from that. And I think for the last 1 or 2 months, I see some early sign of that. And if this come true, of course, for the mainstream market, Tesla and Xiaomi and some other makers would benefit. But for the premium market, NIO was leading. So NIO would benefit from that. I think that's another thing. And third thing you are quite familiar is the battery swap station. These kinds of infrastructure has like a break point at the beginning because you don't have so many infrastructure. It's not a network, so people don't really trust it, especially for some people who are not very familiar with NIO. I think you are very familiar with NIO. I think NIO fans are very familiar with this brand, but for the majority, for the public, I think they are quite familiar with Charger. They don't know battery swap station very much because there is only one brand seriously pay attention to it. But now NIO has 2,500 battery swap station, and it becomes something serious. It becomes something serious. A lot of new guys, new followers, new users, they trust it for years. But I tell you, for majority of Chinese, actually, a lot of people don't know battery swap station yet. But I think from this year, it's getting better. That's my basic understanding of NIO. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic answer. So I just want to follow this up with you talked about the mainstream market, Xiaomi and Tesla, and you were at the Onvo launch as well. What do you think about Onvo? Because a lot of people, some people have thought that Onvo car is not going to be successful. We think that it is very nice, but what is your opinion on this car? Do you think it's a great car? It's going to change everything. It's going to beat Tesla, or do you think it's nothing? It's not too special. What's your opinion?
Oh, it's another complicated thing. I want to be short. I think the product itself very good, more than my expectation. I say that not because I was former employee of NIO, not because of that, because it's a good car. It would certainly remind you of Tesla Model Y, because the product concept, the large roomy luggage area, and the interface design. A lot of things are very familiar, like Model Y. And they are, for the other part, it's pretty outside. It's pretty inside, especially outside. The exterior design was excellent. And it's more Chinese than Tesla Model Y. You know Model Y is an American brand. American product, and I think Model Y fits European market very well, fits a lot of international markets very well, but the Chinese market are very special in globally. For Chinese market, people prefer larger size and more details, more premium stitch or decoration, kinds of that. For this part of Chinese loving things, tiny little things, I think Onvo did better than Tesla. And because Onvo coming to this earth 3 or 4 or 5 years later than Model Y, of course, I have enough respect to Model Y. Actually, I write a Chinese book introducing Elon Musk to Chinese audience. But even I respect Tesla. Their product is a little bit out of date currently in China, because their pace and the Chinese car maker pace are completely different. and this is a brand new product. So I think and on the like efficiency, acceleration, handling, and steering, and actually I have some friends who already test drive this car, and I know it drive well, like Tesla. Not 100%, but I know it drives well. So product side are actually good, very good. And for I think there is challenge. There is challenge. The main challenge is brand power. Just now, I say brand power was so important. I could not be double standard, right? Brand power was so important, and Onvo was too new to many audience. So I think the key for Onvo to be successful is how they gonna make this very new brand become a little bit popular, well known in Chinese audience. NIO has two strengths for that. For some of the other car maker, I think zero chance, because you only have like five months to start this brand. You launched the brand, 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, and you deliver the cars I think in October, if I'm correct. So there is only like five months. If it's a very normal Chinese company, I think it doesn't work. If it is Xiaomi or Huawei, we don't worry about that because they are already huge famous brand in China. If it is NIO, I think it's like in the middle. They may did it well. They may finish it, but they may lose it. I think they have two weapon. Weapon one was William Li. He was founder and he was famous. He was attractive. I think he could help on this. Currently, if you have a famous founder and who love to use social apps, it would worth like billions of advertising. Advertising was not so much effective currently in China because there are too many marketing and the people are like so annoyed and they try to avoid normal advertising. And the number two was NIO brand power. You see Mini Cooper, you see Smart. Why Chinese? Some of Chinese like Mini Cooper, some of them like Smart, but from the beginning, it was not brand powered by Mini Cooper. It was brand powered by BMW. We Chinese call Mini Cooper not Mini Cooper, not like America or Germany or Britain people or British people. You call it Mini, always Mini or Mini Cooper. We call it BMW Mini. For normal Chinese, it's always BMW Mini. And for Smart, we Chinese call it Mercedes Smart. It's a completely different culture. So I think the second chance for Onvo is they somehow made some of the people think it's NIO Onvo. It's NIO Onvo L6. So they can utilize some of the brand power of NIO. I think it's important. There are the other car maker try to have the second brand, third brand, like a GAIC, Guangzhou Auto. They have second brand and it was Haobo. It's a premium brand.
Hyper,
how?
Yeah.
Hyper. You know how it works. It doesn't work because the first brand is called GAC what?
Ion.
Ion.
Yeah, Ion. Sorry, Ion. Ion was not premium. Ion was not so famous. Ion was not so important for real consumer because they are strong for fleet sales, but they are not so strong for normal private consumer. So when they launch Hyper, actually it has no chance. But Onvo, I say it has chance. I'm not sure for that. Yeah, that's my and another challenge is sales channels. But I think this is one thing could be very quick in China. I think they can open like 100 shops, which is crazy for German or Britain or Japan or Australia or America, but it's very possible in China. They can open 100 sales point in 4 or 5 months. I think that's for sure. Thank you. Thank you for.
And also, you are. I know that you have both Tesla Model Y and
Yeah.
Neo ET5.
Yes.
Right. So you got the best of
Yeah.
the both. You know.
I have many EVs and plug and hybrid in China because I focusing on this industry. So I want to buy more cars than a normal person. Try to know different kinds of technology and the different character of different maker. I have Volkswagen ID.4, which is Germany. I have Polestar 2. I have a Model Y, Neo ET5, and Li Auto L7. Yeah, that's my lineup. But currently, I only kept Neo and Tesla in my home, and some of the cars are transferred to my friends or to the public market. Yeah.
Among all those cars you mentioned, why you kept these two?
Oh, my wife enjoy Model Y very much. My wife say it's best among the list, and I think there is a reason. You know, I live in a small village far away from Shanghai downtown, in the very far away place of Shanghai, and in the village side, the road condition are not so good as the other part of Shanghai. The road was narrow, and infrastructure not so well, and Model Y is not so wide. It's not so wide because Chinese car maker, they like to build very wide cars, so it's easy to drive. Sometimes you win the market not by the technology, but by meet the customer needs, even it's basic. Number two, I have 2 kids, and I have a big dog. So and they love sports. They always have basketball, football, something should be carried in the car. And the Model Y is really big enough to take a lot of luggage. It's biggest among the list. I think the third thing is I think Model Y is one of the best. Speaking of handling and steering, it's very dynamic. It's very good to drive. So I think that's 3 reasons. And actually, there's number 4. It's branding power. For Chinese females, normally they don't pay attention to mechanic and digital technology into details. I think they take a brand power very much into consideration. And for me, why I kept 85 because it's the latest model. The other models I bought it like 3 or 4 years ago, but for 85 it's very latest. I just want to know the latest update of new product. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I choose pink color in pink, interior
nice.
in
Oh,
interior in 紫色，紫色怎么说？How to say 紫色 in
Purple.
English? Sorry.
Purple.
purple. Sorry,
Purple.
purple. Yeah.
Interior in purple and exterior in pink. Yeah.
Wow.
We call it real men choose pink cars. Real men choose pink cars. Yeah.
It's not super pink. It's not Barbie pink either. It's more of like a kind of soft
elegant.
pink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soft pink. Oh, that's nice.
Can I jump in and ask a question? Just so I want to clarify. How long were you with Neo? And like, did you leave 6 years ago, or you started 6 years ago?
Oh, I was working for Neo like 1 year from 2008 2018, 2019. And I remember when I joined NIO, it was the second month after their IPO in New York. And when I joined NIO, they only deliver like 1,000 or 2,000 cars, only 2,000 cars delivery. So it's very beginning. It's very challenging. At that time, because I'm in charge of PR relation, and the public relation was quite hard to handle, because some international audience may misunderstood that you may think the Chinese are very how to say positive for electric vehicle, very positive for these kind of things. Not true, not true, not true. In 2018, most of Chinese don't trust the electric vehicle. Most of Chinese are very spacious for these startup company. Some of rich Chinese, they have some confident in Tesla. But for, I think, 99% or 97% of Chinese don't trust the EV at that time. And because NIO was a startup, not a huge, big company, so that makes it even harder to trust. And because NIO make a premium cars, it makes it even harder to trust.
Was being a Chinese company also a challenge to building trust?
Yeah. Cause before NIO, the Chinese car maker normally produce cars average pricing like 120 RMB, 120,000. That's the average price of a Chinese car. And at that time, if you produce 200,000 RMB car, people would say, wow, this Chinese car, so good, so premium, so expensive, so nice to have it. But NIO double it, more than double. So at the first time, it's like we introduce the ping pong ball to America and tell America that's the future. Forget basketball, forget football. Embrace ping pong ball. Ping pong ball is the future. It's somehow like that. So they because people don't trust the EV, so they needed to have a target, and the NIO was the target because NIO was very like strange. Why so expensive? Why so premium? Why so new? Why the founder William Li looking so pretty, so handsome, and talking some very unbelievable ideas? It was that time. Yeah, it's quite a good lesson and experience for me. But at that time, I sometimes need to go to hospital for my mental health. That's true.
I hope your mental health is better now that you've quit that industry.
Yeah. Yes, actually, yes. Yeah.
Mr. P, I know you have a list of questions, but can I just ask one more question real quick? Has that mindset changed considerably of the Chinese person of actually like trusting expensive Chinese product, homegrown Chinese products?
Yeah. Two things changed very much in last 6 or 7 years. The first thing is people start to trust electric vehicles from like 2020 or 2021. That's a starting point. For now, okay. I think the majority of Chinese already believe electric vehicle story. Even they don't buy it today, but they already believe the story. This is one transaction. The number two transaction is people start to realize even they pay for a car, they can choose Chinese. Even they pay for a premium car, they could consider Chinese. For normal pricing goods, people are so easy to choose the Chinese product. For premium cars, they could consider. I use consider. I don't say they choose, I say they consider. Actually, I think, to be honest, that NIO's branding power in China is still behind the Mercedes and the BMW and the Porsche. Obviously, I think maybe for some of Chinese, they even behind the Lexus, because for these international brands, they sell product and they sell brands, both. But for NIO, I think they sell product mainly. They sell some of brand. For normal Chinese car maker, they only sell product. There's no brands. If they change their name tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, people wouldn't notice. People would ask, oh, the logo changed, the naming changed. Oh, it's still a big Chinese car company. Okay, it's good price. Okay, I take it. Yeah, I think speaking of brand is quite different with mature market like Japan, Korea, US, and Europe. Because China market was too new and there are too many brands. If you date with 100 girls at the same time, I'm sure you are not so familiar with them. You don't know their character very much. You don't know their personality very much. That means for each of them, their brand power was not so important for you. I just made a bad joke.
That's a good joke.
It's a good job, and I wouldn't be able to live to see tomorrow if I do that. So
All right, so I got two big questions. The first one is partnership. Right now, NIO has signed a lot of these other traditional automakers here in China with these swap partnerships. What is your opinion on this as it impacts NIO? Will this really help NIO in the future? And also for in terms of profitability, you mentioned that profitability is a big problem with NIO. NIO has branding, but not profitability. Do you think this is going to help NIO out? And where do you think this all leads NIO in the future and battery swap in the future?
Yeah. Before I answer this question, I want to tell a very short story about a high-speed railway train in China. I remember when I was like a high school student, I always like to read something. I always like to read newspaper. At that time, it's like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, people start to talk about to build a high-speed railway train, speed like 300 or 350 kilometers per hour. At that time, many people would say it's too luxury, too expensive, too difficult for China to adopt that. Even we do, there will be limited only between Beijing and Shanghai and Shenzhen, Guangzhou, these big cities. But finally, you see, now we have, I think, a lot of high-speed railway in China. Is becoming not a minority; it's already, I think, a majority. And I think for NIO, I'm not sure it's gonna work or not. I'm not sure, but I think it's getting better. I mean, there will be more chance after this agreement. There will be more chance, and I think maybe China is the only market who can do the battery swap station network, and more important, based on this network, is standardized of battery. For the other markets, I think it's very difficult to persuading different car maker to have a common standard battery pack. But with NIO to put so much money on the battery swap station already, and I think some of the other maker may think, well, I don't need to investment on infrastructure. I can enjoy the infrastructure of a battery swap station. And I don't need to investment a lot, just a little on my brand new car, and try to have an agreement with William Li about the battery standard. Of course, it's a compromise for any maker who join it. It's a compromise. But if they can adopt this compromise, if they can say yes, they will have some return. The return is the thousands of battery swap stations. It could really help persuading a lot of normal people who are very traditional to join electric vehicle. It is helpful, of course. So I think there are more and more chances for this very impressive and very, how to say, challenging topic. I know there is a lot of agreement go to public, but the really important thing is, you know, this is another Chinese culture. Sometimes we have a lot of agreement go public, but they don't do really action. So I think the important thing is action. We need to pay attention to action. And in the Beijing Auto Show, I visit one of my former colleagues, who is Shen Fei. He is the vice president of NIO, and he is in charge of the NIO battery swap station, NIO energy business. And I asked this question very directly to him. I say, we have seen enough agreement. What's the car who can use battery swap station, which is not a NIO, when it is coming? When it is coming. And he told me this is the most important task for him this year. He wants to make sure at least like 1 or 2 or 3 new models beyond NIO join this network. When he means join, it means the R&D, the engineering really begin. It really launch in the other car company's desk. My English was not so good. I hope you understand what I mean. Yeah. And if they start their real work, I think in 1 or 2 years, the other car would go to NIO's battery swap station, because it takes time. It's auto industry. Nothing could make it in like 1 or 2 months. Yeah.
I know we've had a lot of commenters in the past who have said, like, if other cars, other brands join the swap network, it will kind of reduce or dilute like NIO's brand power or their ability to sell cars or that sort of thing. Do you think it will actually help NIO or hurt NIO in terms of, you know, their brand power or having more brands choosing to do battery swap?
Sorry, I can't hear the question just now because it's I think the signal has something wrong with the signal. I can't hear it just now.
Okay. Let me try to rephrase it quickly.
Yeah.
Some people have commented that they think that if other car brands, other automakers join the battery swap network and can battery swap on NIO's network, it will be bad for NIO. Just like, what was your take on that?
Oh, it's like not bad. It's not bad. It's good. It's good. You see, if I live with the team in Bangkok, in the same city, we would enjoy the same McDonald's. We would enjoy the same McDonald's. There are plenty of McDonald's, and if you can go to it, I can go to it. There will be more McDonald's. If we are McDonald's fans, we love this. We could all benefit as drivers. We could all benefit from gasoline stations. Finally, people don't care if I drive a Porsche, you drive a Toyota. We go to same gasoline stations. Who has something to say about that? Nobody. Yeah.
But I think some people were saying, like, why would you buy a NIO for 400,000 RMB when you can buy one of the other brands, a FAW random car for 150,000, right?
Yeah. For sure, some people would say that, but there are different, how to say, different. There are always different opinion. Some would say, like you say, but some would say, oh, NIO is becoming something really serious. You see, they follow us. They follow our standard. We're so proud of NIO. Let's go NIO. Let's go NIO. It's just like a Tesla. Who would say it's negative for Tesla that Tesla allow a lot of the other brands use Tesla supercharging network? It's a finally good or bad thing. It's a finally good thing. Ultimate, it's a good thing. Yeah. In Europe, I ask a lot of people, and the supercharger was not only for Tesla. Do you feel bad about that? They say it's okay, and they think it shows how strong Tesla was. It shows how effective the supercharger network is. Yeah, that's my opinion. Especially I think currently for the battery station, the supply was already above the needs. I mean, William Li really built a lot of infrastructure. So I think if the demands, the new models don't come so quick, don't come so many, I think no problem. If there are so many models with so much numbers coming, that's another happy news for William Li. He will just send Mr. Shen to build 1,000 more or 2,000 more. Yeah, that's not very hard in China. We have enough land resource. Yeah, and we like to build something. Government like to build something new. Everybody like to build something new. Currently, our problem is we may not build something new as we do in last 20 years. Yeah, we all see the news from real estate industry in China. We all see that.
All right, I have one big final question for me. So you famously predicted back in late 2022 that there was going to be a EV price war, a oversupply of cars. And this was one of your early predictions. It was before anybody else talked about it. It was before the price wars actually happened. You were the one that actually said it was going to happen. So first of all, credit goes to you. And also, where do you see things going on in the future? Are we still going to have this price war going on with these automakers? They got to cut prices, or is there going to be like things are going to get easier, or how do you see things?
I think the price war would continue, unluckily, and it's not continue 2 months or 5 months. It's maybe 3 or 2 years. So everybody should continue suffer from that on the table until many of the brands disappear or merged. And for these kinds of things, it's not so easy as the European market or America, because European and America, the market was dominated by private companies. They pay really attention to profit sheet, to financial sheet. But for China, things are a little bit different. We care about profit, of course, but we also care about tax, employment, economic growth, such kind of things. And half of the industry was government-owned company, and they are not so much profit sensitive than private company. And another reason is that because China is like a fast growth economy coming to the world, actually we don't have very serious economic crisis experience like US or Japan have. If you are an athlete who doesn't have a really bad injury, you may play more aggressive. No matter you are a football or basketball player, I think that's logical. Finally, there will be fight continually, and I think most of the Chinese car makers already know that. At the beginning, to realize that it was coming was not so easy. But when you already in a press war, it's very easy to understand that it will continue. And I think some of the management already say it publicly. And that's why I think that's why Chinese you can see Chinese car maker be very active in international markets. Currently, I'm in Indonesia. I see many Chinese car makers try to investment in Indonesia, enter this market, even have a factory here, or at least have a plan to have a factory. And last week I was in Thailand. You see there are 3 or 4, I'm not sure, Chinese car factory in process in Bangkok, and some of them already started of production. And I think from the history we can see similar. We can expect a similar we can expect a similar story, just like Korea and Japanese car maker. They go international, like in 30 or 40 years before, and currently it's turn of Chinese car maker. Yeah.
So I actually have a question about developing markets like Indonesia, Thailand. Onvo, if they do go to these markets, or do you think they're going to need to develop a swap network?
Sorry, do they meet what the final
develop
sentence?
a battery swap network? Are they going to? Is NIO going to expand that network out there with this sub brand?
I'm not sure, but if I was NIO, I think I may first introduce my vehicles, not a battery swap station. I think to sell cars is one thing. To build infrastructure is totally another thing. Infrastructure was not so easy when you get out of China. China's system was totally different. It's more easy to anyway. Just be short. It's more easy to have new infrastructure in China, other than European, other than Indonesia or Thailand. So if I was William Li, I only sell cars, and
But
I will copy.
as a PR guy, though, isn't that kind of like cutting yourself off at the knees if you can't really sell the entire car? You know what I mean?
Hey, I know what you mean, but I think because Onvo was a brand new platform, I think from engineering point of view, they already have enough experience to build a car who can adopt a battery swap station. But even without battery swap station, it's still a good car.
Yeah,
in
and it
good
can charge
proportion,
fast.
good physical dimensions, and so on. So I think it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yeah. You need to do things like one by one. If you start too many business together, it's too challenging for management and financial factors.
Can I ask one more question about from a PR perspective? What do you think has gone right or wrong for NIO in Europe?
That's tough for me. That's tough. I think I do think I do think when they start experiment in Novi market in Oslo, I think you know that. Sorry, what's wrong? It's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I think when they started the experiment, I think it's 3 years ago in Novi market. There was a new house in Oslo. The first year they sell like about 1,000 vehicle, and it was all NIO ES8, which is most expensive model for NIO and for Chinese EV industry, basically. I think this experiment boosts NIO's confidence of Europe. They will say, oh, European guys love us, and we are actually so advanced, so fashionable, so good technology, and we shall expand. But I think it was actually, yes, some of that is true, but maybe the bigger reason was at that time, the market don't have enough supply of premium electric vehicles, because Tesla is not a premium brand, and the Mercedes and Audi, they don't get prepared at that time, so you can have the market. But I think they underestimate a bit about the evolution of European market. Actually, European makers are not sleeping. They are not sleeping. Tesla currently is not number one in Europe anymore. The number one brand was Volkswagen of electric vehicle market. I think European makers, even their pace and their product ability of electric vehicle, I think they are behind the Chinese makers. That's for sure. But they are in their home. When you have a competition in soccer or football, you are at home or away was important. It's the same story speaking of car industry. I think Volkswagen, Renault, Fiat, and Stellantis, I think they can defend European market because they still have a lot of ability, and they still have a lot of especially brand power, and they have power of network, sales channels, service, these kind of things. So only to make a most advanced, most good looking with latest technology car is not enough for European market. And there is another reason. I think 3 years ago, Chinese couldn't see it very well, is actually the software was divided into two worlds. One is Chinese, one is, US oriented. So if you have a very good smart vehicle, you put it to Europe, a lot of software and the system may not working so well there. So you need to have like a second research, second R&D. It costs, it takes time, it will slow you down. But for like European car makers, if they don't have too much ambition about the software power, like Stellantis, they just cooperate with Google. They save money, cooperate with Google. And they have the system, they have the navigation, they have music, they have what they need. They have what the customer needs. That's very good advantage for this kind of vehicle. Last week, I just saw a news that Porsche may give up what Volkswagen Group tried to have in software. They may give up and just cooperate with Google on car, with Google system. I think that's wise. It doesn't work for a particular European car maker try to have all the software power in-house. It's not realistic. I think NIO was a pioneer for Chinese car maker who go to Europe. Pioneer always pay, but I think they already took the lesson for sure. For the last 1.5 years, I go to Europe for 3 times. Every time I visit NIO, and the other Chinese car maker, and I visit a lot of European guys. I talk to a lot of people. I think I could give this how to say, I could give this opinion seriously. Yeah, thank you. And every time I go there, I drive myself and I rent or borrow different brands of cars: Volvo, Polestar, BYD, NIO, Xpeng, and MG, and so on. And actually, it's very. By the way, I just want to say it's very useful and interesting to study a market by driving a car yourself, charging yourself, and talk to users, talk to industry guys. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, try it yourself. Obviously, yep. Hey, by the way, you have heard the rumors with the Mercedes and Neo before. I think Mr. P covered quite a few bit. Recently, Mercedes already sort of like pull off from the EV race. I think they're trying to get back to hybrids and stuff. You all heard that?
I think
Still will.
there are rumors. I'm not sure for that. They are just rumors. But from my experience, I think it's nothing surprising for BMW and Mercedes to try to turn back to hybrid, plug-in hybrid, normal hybrid. I think it's very realistic to turn back. Not only focused on EV. EV you can continue, but you can do it slowly, and you try to do some hybrid. There is one really important statement or opinion for me. I shall say it in your live show. That's very important. I think the biggest funding for the last visit in March in Europe and this time in Southeast Asia is I think people will finally realize the competition of hybrid market was so important, just like EV competition. People will finally realize that the paradise could not came to you in a very short time. And I mean, people couldn't turn to EV so quick, and so much of people. Some of them turn to EV, but many of them they will ultimately just turn to hybrid. And in China, it will be plug-in hybrid. In international markets, most of international markets beyond China, I think is hybrid, not plug-in. It's just hybrid. And even in China, I think in 3.5 years later, hybrid would return to the table because the subsidy of tax, you know, currently there is a tax-free policy in China. We call it a purchasing tax. It's 8% of vehicle price. 8% was so important in car industry because most company couldn't have net profit like 8%. In 3 years and a half, the tax-free policy would end, and at that time, people would think, and the car maker would think, I shall do hybrid or plug-in hybrid. This is plug-in hybrid. If you do plug-in hybrid, the story was very good to tell to the customer. Oh, you can charge and you can have gasoline, you can have electricity. It works so well. The performance was so strong, but cost. What about cost? You have more battery, you have e-motor, you have the more how to say anyway you need to you have material for how to say for charging, but for normal hybrid, it's more how to say lower price. It's more efficient. It's lower weight. Actually, it protects the environment also. So at that time, I think a lot of car maker would put this back onto table, and in Europe or Southeast Asia. In Europe and Southeast Asia, I think these kinds of plug-in hybrid don't work so well, and people would just choose hybrid as a more safety choice for them. Not everybody are okay to EV because of infrastructure, because of mindset, because of electricity price. In Europe, electricity price so high compared with China. You drive electric vehicle, sometimes you cost more than gas vehicle. So why change? Yeah, I know European people really care the environment. I know that, but people also care about their wallet. Yeah, yeah, that's my.
I think most people care about their wallet more than the environment.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got one last one from me. What are your thoughts on the US put the tariffs on all of the Chinese electric vehicle to get into the US, and what the action would be from China? I don't want to touch much on the politics, but what would you think it would have been in the future for China towards the American import, which is the only one, I think.
Yeah, actually, I think for sure the reason was political, and it hurts American people, American consumer. They shall have a more, how to say, competitive market with the competitive product to choose, but they couldn't enjoy it due to the tax increasement. And of course, it's a sad news for Chinese car maker. America was #1 market globally, and I think the countermeasure from China, there will be countermeasure from China, but I think China may be more, how to say, generous or open on global trade currently, because China was good at making products right now. It's like a world factory. So I think China don't want to have how to say trade war too much. I think China just would have countermeasure, but still try to open to global trade. I think, yeah. I'm not a political expert, but that's my feeling. And I think America is America. I think Europe would not follow America. They would have some their arrangement about protecting their car markets. And in July, I think there will be tax increasement from Europe, but I don't think it will be as strong as America. I think it's maybe 10% or something like that. It will be a mild, soft tax increasement. And because Europe and China actually currently we have a lot of trade in two ways, and I think especially for Germany, actually they don't want to have a fight in auto industry because they have great interest in China markets, and more importantly, I think European car makers have better preparation in electric vehicle, and they have better, how to say, brand power in car industry. So actually, if you go to Germany and France and Italy today, if you go today and without any new policy, just see today, everything was like before, right? If you see the market today, Chinese don't sell too much in Europe. Actually, the market share was very limited. In my opinion, it's like 1.5% or 2%. Why you need to fight with a 2% market shareholder? Nonsense, right?
Pretty much.
Agreed. Yeah.
Do you think Chinese consumers will buy less American cars because of this trade war? Buy fewer American cars? Do they care?
A little bit, a little bit. I shall say always some cares, some don't. I think most don't care so much, but some would care. So, yeah, yeah. I think currently in China we don't discuss it too much. We don't discuss it too much.
I think Chinese more care about the product, right? They care about the quality. If it's something good, they're going to buy it.
Yeah, I think finally people care more about the product and the pricing. You see Tesla still selling good in China, but not increase so much because China competition was too seriously. And for the other car maker like GM Motors and Ford, I think their transaction to electric vehicle was not so quick, was not quick enough. And even General Motors, actually, they built some good cars, but their software was not 100% okay for China. It's just like when Chinese car maker bring some cars to Europe, our software are not 100% okay for Europe. Like I said, it's two software environment. It's two environment. Every car maker, if you want to win global market, now you need to investment twice on software. Yeah, and it takes time. It takes time. Yeah.
So we're generally about time to wrap it up. Do we have any more questions that we want to cover before we go call it a night? I have one more question. Just kind of in general question about working for NIO.
Yeah.
Like, do you have anything you can share? Anything interesting? Any anecdotes? Any stories about that time with NIO? You know, your 1 year there as at the right when they were starting up.
Yeah, it was an amazing time and a very challenging time, and for some time I want to quit. For several time I want to quit because it was so, how to say, I think at that time sometimes you feel very unconfident or stressed because it seems the Chinese audience don't accept NIO, don't accept the Chinese local car maker try to build a very premium position. And another challenge is due to social social platform, because I was a part-time influencer in China before I joined NIO. I was already part-time influencer. I work in automobile company, but I also have create content on social platform. I think being an influencer was the key reason for NIO to hire me. Yeah. But when I go there, because I'm an influencer, so many people know William Li, know Qin Li Hong, and many people know me. And I already introduced at that time people are angry with EV, and people are very angry with these startups. And NIO was the most famous one. So a lot of people, they feel angry about me, even they don't know me. And they always criticize on internet about me.
That's the story of the internet.
Yeah. It's just like, how to say, it's like just like your gauge. It's just like your gauge for the Denver Nuts. They just lose the playoffs. So a lot of basketball fans may say, "Oh, your gauge, you are so bad." These kind of things. At that time, I feel like I'm a professional players, and yeah. I think so. I have two challenges. One is in my daily job. The other was in the internet. And actually, I personally took a personal crisis, PR crisis, personally. That was 3 months three months earlier before I left NIO. It's a start with the argument between NIO user and a very famous influencer who hate EV at that time, who was against of NIO. And when you have a strong argument, people would just put some bad words on each other. And I'm a PR guy, so during this kind of argument, the new user feel very upset. They are very, very angry because the community at that time, it was like more than 10,000 new users and a lot of new fans. They will say NIO was so great. William Li, the founder, was great. Every people was great, but PR department was not great. You are the reason that the world doesn't like NIO. You are the reason the public challenge NIO. And I'm head of PR, so I'm the reason to make everything bad. So, it's very typical. It's very typical. If Argentina lose the World Cup, many people would criticize on Messi. So at that time it was hard for me for several months. But I always return. Yeah, just like the Batman.
Yeah, it's a thankless job, I'm sure, doing PR.
Yeah, it was really very interesting to have like when I just joined NIO, it was like this, because this company was so different in China. It was so different. It was so new. It has so interesting culture. William Li to create a company with community culture. The company inside was a big community. The company and its user was a bigger company. The user itself are very active in the community. This is NIO. And NIO was quite focused on digital things, digital content, digital technology, everything was digital. So it was very interesting. Before I joined NIO, I was already Tesla fans for years. I read so many articles.
Did we lose him?
When I joined NIO,
He's back.
I'm back. When I joined NIO at the beginning, it was like I joined a Chinese Tesla, but more than Tesla. It was that kind of feeling. And many things bad coming later. So that's interesting in my career life. That's interesting. To have 1 year working for NIO is like to have 3 or 5 years working for the other company for me. It's really physically hard and mentally hard at that time. And I think it's reasonable because it's a startup, and this startup is different with the other startup. They want to be something different. I remember William Li always tell me, why follow the others? Why follow the others? I just want to make a NIO, and my NIO and our NIO would just be that NIO. We just do things that way. I think this is kind of philosophy of William Li. Yeah. He doesn't want to create another BMW in China or Cadillac in China.
I think that sort of answer one of the questions the viewer asked, like, did you ever meet William? And if so, how was that experience? That sort of partially answered it already.
This is a question from our reader, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Of course. I visit. I meet William Lee for many times because during that year, I would say I'm working very closely with William Lee because it's the first year NIO entered market. So for the first year, you have your product which you pay attention for years, and finally finish it and finally send it to market. You need to pay really attention to every media event, to every news release, to every interview, to every how to say public issues. So at that time, I shall say PR was very important for NIO, and it's very challenging. When it's very challenging, it's very important for the founder himself to join this task. So we have a lot of core work at that time, and I really learned a lot from William Lee. I think he is super, how to say, super energetic. He works very hard. For example, if I have a meeting with him in like 12 o'clock in the evening or 1 o'clock in the evening, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, we already met again in Hongqiao Airport of Shanghai. Yeah, and that's normal for NIO. That's normal for NIO. So I think he works very hard. I think more than anyone of this company. Yeah, and he's also a gentleman. He's also a gentleman. You know, because Chinese are, how to say, we are a new economy. We are a new economy, and we Chinese do everything very fast and in a hurry. We don't have too much patience for majority of Chinese. We do things quickly, and sometimes because we do things too quick, we don't have a good temper. We don't have a very patient attitude to each other. It's like a Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. When you just want to win, when you do things very quickly in a very intense way, sometimes you don't have a good temper with your teammates. It's somehow like Chinese. But as William Lee, when he do things quickly and try to get the result as soon as possible, but at the same time he try to be gentleman to everybody. I didn't see once he put some dirty words on anyone else, no matter who you are. And of course, he will make some negative comments, but never very bad words. I think that's very rare to see in China for entrepreneur. That's very rare to see, and he is very insist on himself opinions. There was one time I tried to convince him to make a change. I put a phone call to William Lee. It lasts more than 1 hour, like 1 hour and a half. But finally, I didn't make it. I think for a lot of things, he believed. He tried to insist. I think that's the he couldn't always make it. And that's also the reason for many people who would always say, "Oh, so strange. Why NIO so insist on battery swap station? Why NIO so insist on direct sales? Why NIO was so insist on this and this?" Many people in China try to give advice to William Lee, but most of them just failed. Because founder is founder. If he doesn't believe in himself, he will not be founder. Yeah. So I try to see these kind of things in two ways. Yeah.
Okay. I try to look at all the list of the question.
Sorry, I try to have a little bit more. I think William Lee was very good at how to say insights for future. Insights for future. You know, the first dinner I took when I joined NIO was the night before I really joined. I had a dinner with William Lee and Qin Li Hong and 2 person or 3 person, 3 other person. I think 6 people. We have a dinner in Shanghai Tower. Shanghai Tower. In the first floor of Shanghai Tower, there was a NIO house. We have a dinner in upstairs. And at the first dinner with William Lee, he told me, we shall face very challenging time of PR. The society, the people, the audience may not like us so much, but I want to keep some secret. I don't want to explain. But at that time, he gave me like 4 or 5 points. These points come true in future. They all come true in future. I think he has a very deep understanding of Chinese society, Chinese economy, Chinese car makers, Chinese industry, and so on. So he can see the future, and because he can see the future, he always try to make a very, how to say, a little bit complex, but how to say, integrate business model. You see, there are 3 kinds of brands. NIO was premium, Onvo was in the middle, and there will be third. And the direct sales, community, online community, offline community, NIO Life, all these things combined together. They have some link and logic with each other. Why he tried to design this? Because he sees the future. So he sees the perfect future, and he built a perfect company for himself. I think this is in my opinion, personal opinion, this is the way William Lee do things. A lot of startup company, their founder are not like that, because in China I also worked with the other 2 founder of big startups. Many founders, they would have some time, and when it's okay, they put more power to expand that. Sometimes they don't design for a longer future. They try. But William Lee, I think he designed the future. He planned the future.
Oh, that's
Visionary.
very reassuring.
I'm saying visionary, is it?
Yeah, visionary. Yeah. I think you can feel it by looking this company. You can feel it by looking the company, the technology, and the product lineup. It's designed. If it is not designed, it would like this. Boom, 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 boom. You will change. You will make a lot of change. You would not have the consistency.
Thank you for the answer. I think it's very reassuring. I personally feel that way. Any more questions from Mr. Peter Ting?
Not from me. I look at all the list from the viewers. I think this maybe could be a good one. Is that the currently Wall Street is too much focus on delivery, but not NIO Power. Do you guys think that NIO will spin off the NIO Power out?
For me, I have no idea about that. I'm not quite focused on financial markets and company, how to say, operation, and on these kinds of aspects. I know consumer, I know markets, I know product, I know brands. How to say? I think it's not easy to split off. It's not easy, cause the car business and the NIO Power has strong link to each other. when you can do the spilled off, I think the other car maker, after the other car maker join the battery swap station network, when this come true, NIO Power was more like an infrastructure company and operation company. So at that time they can spilled off and even rename, because at that time maybe it done okay for them to still call themselves NIO Power. Maybe they will call themselves New Power. It's more neutral for different car brands and their users. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Remember everybody follow it is Iran on YouTube if you haven't yet. Before we get out of here, make sure you guys do that.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I only speak Mandarin, Chinese Mandarin.
It's all good.
Okay. The live translation works well. I mean, if they turn on that closed caption, it actually translates real time. So it works pretty well. And actually, one of our viewers did recommend you to join our podcast since our EP1. Let me look at that comment. I think it's this one. He actually nominated Iran on our first episode a few months ago when we had our first podcast.
Oh,
so he could have been one of your subscribers too, Iran.
And so we're thankful for that recommendation, and also glad you joined us tonight, Iran.
We finally got him here. So
thank you for inviting. It's a pleasure. It's my first time. So at the beginning there was some technical problem, but I do enjoy talking with you. Yeah, and yeah.
I think we enjoyed it too. I know I enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the only one time we had the discussion. I'll try to bug you in again. I'll try to drag you in again. Yeah.
Bring you back in a month or two.
Yeah. I have a bit understanding of Ting and Mr. P. But for Eric, what do you focus on? What do you focus on?
Random thing, whatever I feel like doing. I'm not super serious about my social media.
Okay.
But I do some car stuff. I do some other stuff. Just whatever I feel like. It's hard to explain. You're gonna have to subscribe.
Okay. Talk to you later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot for joining us, Iran. I look through all the comments. It seems to be like more discussion about stocks and stuff. So I leave that to the viewer. But I did enjoy this discussion tonight, and glad to have Iran on our shows. Right? I think hope you guys feel the same, and also the viewers. I think with that, it's also about time too. We actually run a little bit over the time, but
it was a good conversation. So
every minute of it, we did.
It was a fantastic conversation.
Exactly.
So we got to say, Zaywei.
Thank you. It's so warm. When I talk in English, I'm not so confident. Yeah. When I talk in Chinese, I'm like how to say, talk show player. Yeah. so that's the reason why machine translation was not working so well on my channel. Because when I talk in Chinese, I just try to make my words as interesting as possible, just like movies or talk show. So it's not so easy to translate. Yeah.
To translate. Yeah. But it's quite a good insightful content you have there on the channel too. So I think if anyone understands Chinese, please do subscribe and go check out his content. It's pretty good, eye-opening for some of them, obviously.
Let's wish AI could work better on machine translation. Yeah,
it will come a day. For sure.
Yeah.
So Eric, I think that's about it. Let's close it out.
Yeah. Say Zaywei. He's from Shanghai. Zaywei.
Shanghai is right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for everyone watching. It's our first time on the channel that we hit 130 viewers. So that is thanks to all of you. I know that a lot of discussion on the comments is kind of getting pretty heated up a little bit, but stay calm. Yeah, I mean things can go up and down.
People are mad. They're losing their shirt.
Yeah, I mean
People are mad on what?
Stock.
On the stocks.
Oh,
Since the
okay.
tariff,
Stock.
there's a lot of
Hey, but
down-
I told them all many years ago, hey, just invest in VOO, Vanguard Fund. Who cares? Like, put 90% of your money in there, you'll be good. And look at it now. So I don't know what you guys are doing listening to YouTubers.
Yeah.
How
I mean,
much
and
you
Mr.
made?
Mr. P told you guys it was going down. So, you know, people are complaining, but hey, if you would have listened to either of us, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, my
Anyway.
heart is out to all of you, man. I didn't have
don't-
any stock now, so no more stock. So I mean, it's okay for me at the moment.
I'm good too. So,
All right.
people.
With that, I'd like to thank Jiran again and all the viewers, everyone who joined us tonight. And we'll try to do it again next week. Let's get I'll grab some guests. We'll see who would come next. Yeah.
We'll see who we can get. All right, guys. I'm out of here.
Thanks a lot. And
All
Jiran,
right.
I think
Thank you,
lost his
Jiran.
connection too.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe, stay
Thank you.
healthy.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks so much, Iran, if you're still there. Appreciate that. That was cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I just try to quit, but I
It's all right. Tim
Yeah, I
left
can
us.
just close it.
yeah,
just
it's
close it and-
somebody else